My games go to turn 9, turn 10. Some don't. You know, if you just crush somebody or face under just crushes you. But majority of your games are going that long. And my type of deck, we're both going to be kind of low. So this instantly wins the game. I get it out, you're dead, right? Well, okay, let's say you have 15 mana. And I get it out on turn 9. Now you have to spend all your resources trying to kill that. If you don't, you're going to die. So you have to clear your board to handle that, and now whatever I had on the board, I get to add to my next turn by playing other minions on the board. And now I complete board control, and I win. So yeah, just huge. I've won so many games with the card. I don't know why that. It's an 8/8 with rush, with charge, and a lot of people don't see it coming. They're like, okay, he doesn't have 8 damage. He's got 1 card. Right? Bam, dead. So they don't see it coming, so they can't really play around it. What sucks is when you got to run that into a Sludge Belcher because you have no other option, and then they take maybe the other 2 minions to kill it. So you never really got the 8 damage to the face, but you did clear their board. I had a game with that just recently, just 2 games ago, where they had a Sludge Belcher, 2 other cards. I ran my King Crush into the Sludge Belcher. They had to spend all 3 of their cards to kill it, and then I played like 2 cards. Now I got instant board control, and then I used my bow and my hero power to finish the game out, right? But yeah, that's the deck. Any changes I would make is Sylvanas. I think I would throw in, maybe take this out, throw Sylvanas in, or maybe Sludge Belcher. One of these spots I would, because that's another card that you just have to play around. You put it out there now. You gotta strategize. Okay, how am I playing against this card? I gotta either silence it. I either gotta hope for the best case scenario where I don't get my big. You always get your big shit taken, right? You never get your little 1/1 minion. It's always the best. It's always your Dr. Boom or something like that gets stolen. So it's such a good card. And if I had that card, I'm saving up now. I think I got 410. So I got a ways to go. I've wasted so much of this on YOLO decks. Like, I think of a deck, oh, that would work great. I spend up all my dust, get the cards. I did it with a pirate deck where I just spent all kinds of dust making a pirate deck, and it was fucking horrible. I thought maybe a rogue pirate deck would work because always having a weapon and da-da-da-da, and yeah, it failed. Maybe it could work. I just don't know how to play it. But yeah, I'll do that all the time. Like, oh, I had a Death Rattle Hunter deck that I made. I spent all kinds of. It's a cool deck. It's a fun deck because you can get a lot of cool shit. That the Death Rattle card. So, but wasted a lot of dust. But that's the one out of all the cards. That's the only one I really want at this time that I need. I think because that deck, it's like Dr. Boom. It can go in any deck because it's such a strong 5-drop. But that's the deck. Any questions? You can post it and hit me up. Send me, but I'll explain it. But that's the reason. Like I said, there's a lot of situational cards. But if you look, there's not a scenario that I can't deal with. Now, let's run through real quick. Mech Mage. I can deal with Mech Mage pretty easily. I got enough stuff in here to really handle it. Yeah, I beat Mech Mage all the time. Not an issue. How do I deal with them? Well, I have my send it back to hand. If they get too many, I'm here. I have my Eaglehorn Bow, Unleash the Hounds, Kill Command, Animal Companion, all that. My traps, they all deal with their early minions. And then late game, you just destroy them. I mean, Mech Mage late game, they don't have any really big minions, right? So you could just, if you can manage the board, boom, you win. Let's go with Freeze Mage. I don't know, there's not too many of them on the board. Not too many really, I don't know. But let's go with Handlock. Handlock, you have your Hunter's Mark and your Owl and your Loathid. Those are if you time those right, you win the game. Freezing Trap, they play a fucking giant, give it taunt and attack with it, and it goes back in their hand. They lose that taunt, right? Huge. I mean, usually they can pay it next turn because it's cheap, but it doesn't have a taunt on it. So then by that time, they're so low, you could usually go to the face and kill them. What else? Demon Lock, I beat them on a regular basis. The only time I don't beat them is if they get the crazy combo with their two late legendary cards they got. If they gave both those at the same time, they're hard to beat. But I could silence one, I could Hunter's Mark and kill it. So yeah, I mean, that's the only time I really have a hard time beating them. Zoo, I mean, Zoo's the same way. You know, I did so much to deal with Zoo. Face Hunter, I destroy Face Hunter on a regular basis with this deck because if I can control the tempo early, I force them to trade into me instead of me having to clear their minions. And then once the Face Hunter's got to do that, they lose. They have to go face at all times. But they realize, okay, I can't win the race because we have a lot of the same minions. So if I get a lead, they don't have a way to clear my board other than an explosive trap or dogs, right? But if I have some of my bigger stuff, Pilot Shredder, or I get my animal commanding out, my 4/4 taunt is hard to deal with. So then they have to start trading into me, and then I could flood the board just as fast as they can, and I have way better late game, so I win. Priest, I just beat two priests. Again, it's about the silence works really good against priests. Lothab works really good against priest, and I just have overall better minions, right? Overall better minions. They have a lot of clears where they can just clear you, but I have a lot of death rattles too, where okay, you clear me, I'm getting a benefit from it. Paladin, yeah, Paladin. I destroy Paladin as long as I can keep my Eaglehorn Bow in my hand for that turn 8 legendary they have. If I can silence that, I win the game. Yeah, I don't have any problems with Paladins. And also, like, they'll play their rally, their troops or whatever, and bam, explosive trap. Or I counter it with snakes, or, things of that nature. And then I go to their face and force them to trade into me, so they just played, 4 dudes. I countered it with Unleash the Hounds. Went to their face, got extra damage. Now they just had to waste their dudes to take out my Unleash the Hounds. What other decks? Druids, I destroyed Druids. I like going against Druids actually, because they're big taunts for Frozen Trap, huge. I spend all that ramp to get them big cards out, and I send them right back to the hand and have them cost more. And my Hunter's Mark. What else? Shaman? Okay, Druid I lost to a couple times because of the Wombo combo at the end. And that was a mistake. I went face instead of clearing one of their minions out, and that one minion, he buffed it up, was able to, kill me along with the combo. That was just a mistake. I could have won both them games. Shaman? Yeah, there's no issues I have with Shaman. They have some... Yeah, there's nothing. Mech Shaman, I kill. I don't know. Yeah, I have no issues against Shaman. None at all. I mean, I really outlate game. I outlate game most decks, and this here allows me to put enough pressure, enough clear, to get through the early game. And once you get into here, I mean, especially this area here, that's hard to deal with. So, yeah. But I'll bring it back on the board. Actually, I'm going to end this so that, just wanted to kind of give the why I play some of these cards, how I do. I don't know if it's right. I enjoy it. I like cards that give you a winning condition. A lot of these cards give me a winning condition. They're not just filler spots and just let me throw a 2/3 out there. Right? Each one of them has a specific place and time, and if you play them in there, it's a big change in the game. If you play a lot of these cards, you play them at the right time. I mean, it's a huge game changer. So that's why I like playing it. I'm not saying it takes a lot of skill to play this, but it's all about timing and knowing when to play certain things, and you can really change the game. Each one of these cards can change the game. Mad Scientist. I play it, get the trap out. Knife Juggler doing tons of damage. When to play this. Early game when to play this. When to get the death rattle out. When not to. When to put this out. When to use this, and maybe sometimes I'll use this instead of get my Savannah Highmane out. Timing the Lothab. This is probably the simplest card. Like, you always play this, or always this. Savannah Highmane, sometimes I'll hold off on it, get, maybe one of these out, and then get my Eaglehorn Bow out. Right, so yeah. I'm not saying it's the hardest deck to play, but you can't just ABC it. But if I get a good curve on this, curve being, let's say early game, I have a Haunted Creeper, a Knife Juggler, and a Mad Scientist Eaglehorn Bow, which is very common to get. and that transitioned into I get a 4-drop of either a Houndmaster or a Pilot Shredder, right? 5-drop, the Sludge Belcher Loatheb. I get my 6 out. I mean, it's just, you got to deal with each one of these, and it takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of resources to deal with this. It takes a lot of resources to kill this. You know, this is going to take 2 turns to kill. Sludge Belcher can take 2 turns to kill. Savannah Highmane is going to take 2 to 3 turns to kill. We all know Dr. Boom. So if I can get a little bit of a head, and I just snowball it. Of course, there are some decks where they can just clear me in one shot. You know, 2-card combo can clear me, but you can't play around those. You can't just play, oh, he might have that 2-card combo. Yeah, so if I can just, and it's not hard. I mean, it's a pretty easy progression, right? It's not weighted any. It's kind of heavy on this end. But this stuff, you know, the early stuff allows me to get through the back end. But it's kind of a long explanation. It's my version of the mid-range hunter. That's kind of the deck I started with. It's what I've been most successful with. I'm currently at 80% win rate today with it, and probably overall about a 70% win rate. If I had to play this deck straight all month, I think I'd be going rank 5. I threw a lot of other crazy decks in there just trying new stuff and lost my ass, lost tons and tons of stars. And I always get them back with this deck and then switch and play some shitty decks and get them back with this deck. So, currently rank 8. We were 11 or 12 when we started today. So we're going to keep pounding it out. I'm going to run this deck all month and just really see how it goes. And but that's the explanation of my deck. This is my version of Mid-Range Hunter. I kind of went off of one Trump was using and then just kind of spliced it up to fit how I need. But yeah, it's a kind of unique deck. There's a lot of cards that I don't see a lot of people using. You know, different combinations of cards, I guess. But that's that, and yeah, you want to check it out, try it, play it. It works good. A lot of situational cards. If you can play at the right time, you win the game. All right, check it out.